What's going on, guys? How are you? It's good to see you. It's good to be seen by you. And me doing the glad to see you and be seen is Bill Sylvie, aka the Dungeon Delver, coming to you live, loud and clear on a Friday evening. I hope you're having a good one. I'm sorry for the video chop. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why it does that. I've quit trying to figure it out, at least this week. But we'll just have to suffer. Michael Dale, great old ones. Alan Canning, good to see you. Gonzalo Lira's Bar Tab, hello, hello. All of you folks out there. 9 of you swinging by on Twitter, 11 of you over here. And let me ask you a couple of favors. First and foremost, could you throw me a like on this video if you're having a good time already? And the other is, if you haven't done this already, could you please subscribe? Because believe it or not, I actually do live stream on a semi-regular basis. And I do newsy videos like today talking about Jeremy Crawford flying the coop over at WotC. All that sort of thing. I talk about it. I talk about it because I think it's worthy of discussing, and because of that, I make these videos, and you can find out when I do them if you click the subscribe button and click the bell icon for notifications. We do live streams mostly 5 nights a week around here. This week has been a little strange, and I'll kind of explain myself. The usual schedule around these parts, the way we do things typically is I have a Monday where we just kind of chill. That is a Monday afternoon show now. We start at 6 o'clock, where we just kind of kick back and talk about what we're going to do during the week and any topics that come to mind. How was your weekend? Give our undercarriage a little how's your father? And then on Tuesdays, we play first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons live for you guys to enjoy. And it's a special time. We have a lot of fun doing that. On Wednesdays, it depends. If my co-host is available, we do fun stuff on Wednesdays. If not, we do fun stuff on Wednesdays. You see how that works? Thursdays is typically guests. And I'm going to pause here. So last night I had John Murakami, and I had Heidi Gygax Garland and Eric Garland. We were all lined up. We were ready to go. They had just gotten in from vacation that morning, and by that evening they had COVID. That's right. They had the Wu flu, as it were, human malware. Hello, Atomic FX. Good to see you. But the net result of that was that last night's show got scuppered, and it happened so close to, because they were hanging on like prize fighters in the clinch, couldn't be broken up. They were hanging on tooth and nail for the plans on Thursday night, and they were just like, no, dude, we're falling out, which I completely understood. Okay. There was no, there was no animosity or anything like that. So, and it happened right. I was like, I don't have a B plan. Let me think of a B plan, and then I'll come back later in the evening. And then I got sucked into the code monster, which I've been talking about a lot, and I'm going to talk about again in a little bit. I got sucked into the code monster, and the B plan just fell by the wayside. And I glanced up at the clock. I'm like, it's 10 minutes after 11. I don't think I'm going to be doing a live stream tonight. So I apologize to you guys for missing last night. And that brings us here. Now, typically, Friday nights are reserved for Gamma World, and it hasn't been in a couple of weeks. Nothing is wrong. Do not adjust your sets. The Gamma World game is going to be played. We're just at a point where I want to have everybody at the table who plays in the game. This fight that's coming up and the following sessions, there's some kind of important stuff. It's like if you're playing against the Giants, you get all the way to Q1, and next week fight is against Loft, and half your group can't make it. You postpone that. Okay? Which I know I've said, there's no plots or arcs or anything like that. And I might have said, okay, you folks that can make it will go, and it's like this person is going to guard the space buggy, and the rest of them will go off and do whatever. But it's like the last session ended on like an ambush by these robots, by these killbots. My brothers are robots. They're brobots. So yeah, I wasn't gonna just say, oh, okay, you two people who can make it. Sorry, the folks that aren't here. I guess y'all miss out. Mikey the goat cat. Meow meow ba. Hello, good to see you. So anyhow, and that brings us to right now. So this week has been atypical, and I apologize for that. So we're just gonna chill tonight for a little while. I think we're just gonna chill. I'm not gonna worry about any particular agendas. I mean, I have an agenda. I have things I want to talk about, but we'll get to them when we get to them. So let's talk about that coding thing. If you've never watched the channel before and you don't know what I'm talking about by coding, you don't follow me on social media, I took it upon myself to apply my rapidly aging brain to learning the Python programming language because I heard it was really easy. A friend of mine told me it's really easy. And with the aid of Stack Exchange, Google, ChatGPT, and what's the one on Twitter? Grok, I have been nailing together really more than anything, a first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons character generator as part of a future, I shouldn't say series of programs. There's going to be one more that will replace, if you're still using the Dungeon Master's assistant, or you're going to this website or that website, or maybe you're dumbing down the Core Rules 2.0 CD-ROM, you're like, okay, AD&D 2E, let dwarves be clerics. No, they let half-elves be paladins. No, just ignore that. I want to make a Windows compliant, this works under Windows, first edition AD&D standalone executable that will let you create, then reload and edit a character. After that, I'm going to create one that automates a whole bunch of multi-layered functions in the Dungeon Master's Guide. So you see where I'm going with this, right? And the easy part, the part that only took me about 2 weeks, was getting the character creator from 3d6 6 times in a row, and then applying the label strength, intelligence, wisdom, dexterity, constitution, charisma. By the way, the reason the stats are in that order, we're going to get into some trivia real quick here. Strength, intelligence, wisdom, fighters, magic users, clerics, the first 3 classes. Dexterity, thieves, Constitution is important to everybody. And charisma is an edge case thing for the paladin. That's why the stats are in that order. So when I see, oh, we put the physical stats and the mental stats, that makes sense. You don't make sense. But anyway, so doing all my programming, it's actually been fairly easy. The hard part is sanitizing the code after I ask an AI for help with it. Oh, I see you've got this listed. Well, silly bean. That's not how it is in first edition AD&D. It's like this. I fixed your code block. That I didn't. That's no, those saving throws. What edition are you pulling them from? So go in and fix things. So yeah, I've been the first part of it is pretty easy. Loading it back in. Oh, and I need to pump the brakes before I go on any more details. Don McVitie and Doomsword Deathmaster and Joshua Ford. Hey, Gonzalo, thank you very much, brother. Thank you. Man, I'm just one dude. I'm just one dude. Thank you, Gonzalo. I really appreciate that. But the one thing that that really just eats you up is tracking down. I don't understand object-oriented languages. I grew up with procedural languages. Basic as a procedural language. 10 print hello, 20 print everybody, 30 print are you or input string open quote, are you having a good time, close quote, semicolon, a string, enter. I understand that. Function starts at the top, goes to the end, and then stops. You can put that in any order in object-oriented languages. It doesn't matter. It's just, so my code is a spaghetti nightmare. And the one thing that I have learned very quickly about Python and getting help is that it is getting help from AIs is they will do things to help. You won't know what your code does. You'll know what your code does. You'll get the outcomes, but God help you trying to figure it out. So Doomsword Deathmaster and Don McVitie and some other people who've been helping me test versions have been such a help in getting this going. I have gotten to the point with a character generator where I want to load in characters, and I've got it where it will load in a character in a simple fashion. Where I ran into problems and had to abandon a day's worth of work was trying to add routines to let you edit things, because I'd add something and it'd break something. I'd fix that, it'd break something else. I'd fix what was broken, and then I'd look and there was an entire routine grayed out because it's like, that's not an error. I'm just not gonna run that code because nothing refers to it. So I basically tonight, I just abandoned it. I went back to a previous version and I just said, sanity time. And that kind of ate my brain yesterday. All the breaking yesterday evening, rather, that ate my brain. And then today, but I also knew Gamma World wasn't coming today, so I wasn't like up against it and panicking. Whack-a-mole for code. So, today I did drop a newsy video, though. If you guys saw, again, Chris Crawford out at Wizards of the Coast. Now, hey, TXT, let me tell you guys straight up, I don't care what Wizards of the Coast does with its D&D. I don't. I'll laugh at it if I think it's bad. Your stupid Mexican orcs. Yeah, that's real sensitive. Portraying Mexicans as orcs. Nice. Very nice, Wizards of the Coast. Hey, Daniel Pasilis. Yeah, no kidding, Dungeon Minister. Maybe say a prayer for him over there. Somebody's going to lose a job. But yeah, so they can do whatever they want, but sometimes this stuff has an effect on old school. The person that replaces these guys may come in and have just an absolute hate boner for Gary. Plenty of people do. For reasons I don't understand, so many people have axes to grind. So many people. People who never met him, people who never worked for him. They're hiring people, insofar as they are, whose understanding of D&D was memes in 2018. Lol, an alignment chart. I'm neutral. I'm the guy that likes vanilla ice cream. I mean, that's their understanding of D&D, not 30 years of playing. And we might not like what Jeremy Crawford did, but my God, he started writing first edition AD&D material and submitting it to the Dragon and Dungeon magazines. That means something. Now, Jeremy Crawford, I don't know about. Yeah, that is a bigger load of bullshit I could not see. Wonderful Wizard of Games. That is cope. Cause you are coping and seething. You just can't believe what you're feeling. The truth it is scalding, and now they are malding as they cope. Coping and seething. Doesn't mean anything. I'm reminded of this twee little man, and I'm not going to name names, but he and I got into it back on Dragon's Foot forums back before the earth cooled. And this jack handle, this rusty bucket was going on. This was back when first edition AD&D reissues in PDF form were first coming out. I'm talking like 2003. When Bastion Press was a third-party company contracted to collect all the classic D&D material they could and scan it. And you could buy those PDFs from Wizards of the Coast. Oh boy, were they not great scans. But they did the best they could with what they had. Jim over at Bastion Press, I mean, God bless him. But the reason I bring it up is... yeah, this guy who hung around first edition AD&D fora and would edition war with you at the drop of a hat. Actually, this guy said there was no significance to the fact that when the Player's Handbook, Monster Manual, and Dungeon Master's Guide for first edition AD&D were released in PDF format, they blew away all the sales at Wizards of the Coast's own website. If you went to wizardsofthecoast.com, more people were every time they would release a first edition AD&D product in PDF on the WotC store webpage, it outsold third edition. And so this fellow's contention was, there's no significance to that. Such copium, pure unfiltered copium inside a cope cage being launched off the end of the carrier on a cope slope. God. Ishahay, good to see you. Ishahay's been moving. Aren't we all moving though, Ishahay? I mean, the tectonic plates are shifting. The earth is spinning. There's a resonant vibration to all matter in the universe. It's orbiting the sun. Our entire solar system rotates. Our entire solar system orbits the galaxy. Our galaxy is moving through space. Our local cluster is being drawn towards the great attractor. So, yeah. Alan Canning says maybe they've changed the environment of WotC so much that the old ones felt ignored for all their work there. That could be. Charles Latora, hello, good to see you. So that's an interesting observation, wonderful Wizard of Games. No, this guy was not a paid shill. He trolled forums because he thought he was right. The wonderful Wizard of Games says, if anything, I've seen a massive push to people playing first edition BECME and OSR games more than 5e lately. Since third edition, a truism has been that as an edition starts to die, people start to rediscover classic D&D. It just happens. Hey, Bob Jester. Lots of things. So yeah, you do kind of see this porpoising of classic D&D as old editions go down, classic editions come up. I'm not saying that's a bad thing or that what you're saying is untrue. I'm saying what you're saying is very true. Henry Kissinger, how I'm missing you. But anyway, so that's my thoughts about that. And I put out a news video about it today. It was from Screen Rant. You know, I don't really like sourcing Screen Rant for things, but it's better than driving traffic to Yen World. Not by much. Hey, TB, an argument could be made that older analog things are coming back into vogue. I've always felt that. I think we're going to see a point. I think we're going to see a point as automated manufacturing of goods, automated providing of services, and automated creation of soft goods, software. That's soft goods generally is like clothes and so on, but in this case, software. I think there's going to be a cottage industry of people who want to go to somebody and play D&D face to face with dice, with miniatures, using books and using pencil and paper. That's going to be a thing. That's going to be the hipster singlet bikes. That's going to be, singlet bikes, blue jeans, vintage t-shirt, PBR. Oh, that is it. The Philosopher's Drinking Song, Bob, is probably one of the best musical pieces that the Pythons ever did. Yes, the Chinese tariffs are going to hit WotC hard. The only games company that is going to come out of that not being royally screwed is either kitchen sink guys who just go to local print houses. Like, I take mine to Kinko's and then I mail them to all 11 of my customers. But Trollord Games, they own a printing press. By the way, I am calling out Troll Lord Games right now. You guys stiffed Jack of the Northlands. Guys, it's not cool. Yeah, he's a small creator, but he's just as deserving of attention as anyone else. Just bailing on the guy, leaving him hanging. Bad form, TLG. Bad form. So anyway, to go back to what I was saying though, somebody brought up a good point though, and this came up on Twitter a couple of hours ago, and I thought, at the very least, I got to talk about this on the show, and I'm going to talk about this, and that's paid DMing. Now, I have told you guys before that yeah, you're very right, Gonzalo. I've told you guys before that the idea of being a paid DM, there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Chaosium will be doing great in this period, given that their games sell more books in Japan than WotC does in the US. I don't know about that. I honestly don't know about that. I'm going to find out about that in a couple of years, but I don't know about that right now. Well, a year and 1 month. But paid DMing, like I would never pay to DM. Guys, it's a good gig. If you do it well, like if you're a really good GM, there is no shame if people want to pay you. My business, Guide Key, you get the Dungeon Delver experience for your group if you want to hire me. I mean, Dwarven Forge, classic D&D. I absolutely positively have no problem with paid DMing. I even threw my my hat out on the start.playing website to see if I could pick up something there. I will charge you double if you wear a low cut top, Ishahay. But yeah, there's no shame. There's absolutely no shame in being a paid DM. More people should do it if they're good DMs. Cooperative Waffles, greetings and felicitations to you. Hello, hello. Yeah, some people, TB, some people are like, oh no, but paid DMs, the hell with that. You should just do it because you love the game. I can't pick up my phone and tell the power company I love D&D. The mechanic will not take a fun story about Gary Gygax in exchange for fixing my car. You see where I'm going with this, right? Now, with that said, I don't think Rabbit Wrangler and I'm getting if Rabbit Wrangler, if you and Ishahay are absolutely sincere, Wave of Mutilation, thank you so much. I should totally charge for my DMing skills. I'm a top tier GM. Thank you, Wave. Thank you very much, brother. I really appreciate the donation. But if People want a good DM, and you're a good DM, and they're willing to pay, and you're willing to take money. Do that. Now, if you're just sitting down in a comic shop and you pull out your D&D stuff and some people are like, hey, are you going to run D&D? And you're like, yeah, $25 for each of you. I mean, if you're just looking to play some D&D and you want to get paid to play D&D and you're trying to, you're out there, I don't agree with that. But if you say, I'm a professional game master, I'm going to offer my services to people who are looking for a reliable, skilled, affable, fun game master, then do it. Absolutely do it. With that said, I have seen a lot of TTRPG horror story videos about bad paid DMs and paid DMs who had absolutely atrocious players. There was one, I'm trying to remember. It was for a new module, and the guy got hired by the group. And that spoils things. You need to be surly and confrontational. But there was a D&D horror story, and a group reached out to this guy, and they basically auditioned, like they made him apply to be their DM. And they're like, we want to run Curse of Strahd. And he was like, okay, all right. I've run Curse of Strahd before. Yeah, Ishahay, that's very true. I can't find a group because I'm a repugnant human being. Yeah, that's, there's another profession which also involves dungeons sometimes, where people have to pay to participate in it because they can't any other way. But oh, that's weird, Cooperative Waffles. But he was like, yeah, okay, that's a fun module. I'm definitely looking there. And they basically said, yes, Dungeon Minister politics is what I meant. As the story goes, they said, yeah, we've played it a few times before. It's a lot of fun. And so he starts talking about his DMing style, and they're like, no, don't do that. We want the module exactly as it's written, with everything exactly written down. You're not one of those improv DMs that thinks that they know better than the module writers, because they all suck. And basically it boiled down to, these people, all they wanted was the DM to run the module Curse of Strahd exactly, precisely as it was written. They knew the number of hit points a monster was going to have. They knew the number, down to the coin, how much treasure, what treasure was where, and they absolutely positively wanted no deviation from it. Imagine playing the demo for Doom over and over and over and over and over again. No mods, just that demo over and over again. Yeah, just a gameplay simulator. So, yeah, I mean, it was, and I can imagine having to deal with a group that's like, we want to play G1. Okay, cool. We've played it 10 times already. Wow, I guess I'll have to change things up. No, no improvising. We know exactly how the module is supposed to be. Run it exactly that way and don't change a thing. Gonzalo asks, how the hell can you run a module that uses random card drawings to determine the plot as written? I mean, I guess, first of all, I've never seen the module. I have a copy of I6 Ravenloft. It's not my favorite thing in the world. But I didn't know they did that. Maybe they just insist that the game, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was Tomb of Annihilation. I don't know. I can honestly not remember. But again, they were vehement that if the DM improvised, and they implied they know if he improvised, they were out. Like that was it. Session over. So, yeah. So, but the point is not to talk about that module and its randomization and all that nonsense. The point is to say that, yes, I know there's pitfalls to paid DMing. The first time I did a paid DM gig, paid beyond like ran a games day, like an entire huge games day at a friend's comic shop for free RPG day, which crossed over with their store's anniversary. Madness, I tell you, madness. But the first time I ran a paid gig, I won't say for the company, or I won't say for what company. The company thought that I was there to basically babysit their employees' kids. And I immediately had to throw the brakes on and be like, don't dump your 8-year-old on this, on this Discord. Please, I beg of you, don't do that. I'm not here to babysit your kids. I ended up with like 5 adults, and one parent had a kid who played along with him. And we played White Plume Mountain. It's what I built the menagerie for. I've shown you guys. So yeah, Wonderful Wizards of Game. They might have said Tomb of Annihilation. I do not remember the exact module. Just that they damn near threatened the DM's well-being if he improvised in the module. So yeah, that things were just so awkward for the first session. And I basically emailed the HR people and I'm like, this is more of a parents participate with their kids kind of thing. And most of the kids just drifted off. So it just ended up being a group of adults. I wouldn't hate that, Ishahay. Initech. Yes, it was Initech. Alan, I definitely think the new edition, like 6E, is the gray goo edition, where it's just like, it is there's a point at which, you know, you can do that because it's fun, because it's cool, just becomes, yeah, just do whatever. Oh, your tiefling warlock is now a paladin, Loxodont. Sure, whatever. It's just like the game is just Alan, you had asked something earlier about the character generator software. Why am I doing it? And it came down to this. There is a chance along your travels in a fully fleshed out campaign world that you might meet, the player characters, might meet another group of characters. That probably doesn't happen very often in your AD&D games. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to let you guys in on a dirty little secret. The random encounters in the Dungeon Master's Guide are very textured, they're very cool, and they're very hard to do. 4 to 10 giant spiders, 7 to 12 giant rats, 3 to 18 orcs, 1 to 2 hill giants, a herd of elk. Those sorts of things, yeah, a DM can do just like that. Even if you're sitting there with a laptop and have the Dungeon Master's Assistant Volume 1 encounters going, that thing is cryptic. Do a switcheroo and start running Ardu and Grimoire. But the software that I'm going to be working on, will literally be like, you're in a dungeon, the Dungeon Master, your players are in a dungeon, push button, create encounter. It's a party of 3 adventurers, a cleric, a paladin, and a magic user. 6 men at arms. Here's their equipment, here's their level, here's their hit points, here's their abilities. 1 click for things like that. Populate a hex, fill out a castle. Found a chest with 385 gems, all of which are base 5 GP to start. Enter that in and valuate them instantly. Not with a paladin issue, hey, Daniel? So, yeah, I basically at that point want to have something where I can just push a button and create encounters like that. Treasure types, boom. A sage creator. A sage creator. And can you imagine how handy a sage creator would be? Maybe I'm the only person who can. Take care, TXG. Thanks for stopping by. Good to see you always. But these are the kind of things that a DM can automate and have just running on a laptop, just sitting off to the left. Don't even slow the game down. Click, click, click. All right, you face death itself in the form of 92 orcs. Or even if you're doing it on the backside. That's what I want to create. And I've decided there will be a 3rd program if I can get it working. If I ain't even done with program 1. But the 3rd program, the 3rd one, is going to be for someone. And if he wants me to let it go out to the world at large, I will. It's going to be a Greyhawk character generator. Hair, eye, and skin color. Name. What kingdom you're from. What city you might hail from. the works. Gonzalo, $3,000 worth of first edition books. I ain't automating shit. They will look at streams of my books whether they like it or not. I just pushed the stuff into Grok and got a Python script. I'm sure it works perfectly. Okay, as I was saying at the beginning, the AI tends to drift. Hey, can you generate a first edition AD&D encounter for me? Sure, I can. Here you go. You're like, that's not a thing. A scroll of chromatic orb, that ain't a thing. That's no. You know. So it's coming. It's coming. And I'm excited about it. And I hope you guys are excited about it too. 118 people watching. Wow, that is really cool. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm enjoying it. I'm sorry things are so super choppy though. That I really can't do anything about. And I'm sorry for that. I actually I got Chat GPT to make me a Chrome extension. And that was pretty cool. I know this is going to sound dumb, but basically I could go in and type clock into the URL bar and it would just tell me the time. Oh, that's nice, Ishahay. Filters people out of your Twitter feed based on what's in their display name. I wonder what that could be for. But anyway, so that is that is the part, the automated part. Ardu, good to see you. How about that Crawford departure, huh? I know your channel probably had some guys. If you oh boy, Ardu, please don't laugh at me. If you hablan Portuguese, check out his channel. Okay. If you speak Portuguese and you want to get your classic or your current TTRPG news from someone who knows, like, see, he'd laughing at me. Check out his channel. I'm subscribed just for the vibe, man. But you're late, Ardu. I was singing earlier in the stream, so it was probably good that you didn't show up then. Well, one thing I will tell you. So this is just a complete aside because it's Friday night and I have $25 in supers, so I can do whatever the fuck I want. Brazil is without a doubt one of the coolest and funkiest countries in the world for classic video game consoles that failed everywhere else on the planet and found a market in Brazil. So one of the first video game consoles you could buy that had multiple separate types of games was the Magnavox Odyssey. Hey, Joanna. How are you, dear? Joanna's one of my buddies from over on Twitter. Up top, young lady. Love you to pieces, Joanna. Good to see you. Thanks for hanging out. But yeah, Brazil. So there was that Odyssey. Then there was the Odyssey 2. Now I'm sure some of you older folks remember the Odyssey 2. It almost looked like a computer. It almost looked like, hey, Jack Photon, welcome. Good to see you, man. It's been a minute. It had a keyboard, but it was just like a flat plastic memory. And it looked like something you would have seen like in Star Trek the Motion Picture. So like you could actually type on it. But it was difficult. But they did actually release things that use the keyboard interactively. But then Magnavox got out of it, out of the console business. Or did they? Because they sold out to Philips Electronics. And Philips manufactured the Video Pack G3 or something, or G700 or G7000. And it didn't really make that much of an impact in France because 8-bit micros were becoming a thing. But man, did it do gangbusters in Brazil. Yeah, Daniel. Yeah. It was not easy. Oh yeah, I ain't watching that. Subtitles or no, Ardu. Trying to get on my bad side already. But yeah, no, the Video Pack was basically the Odyssey 3. And it did really, really well in Brazil. And so did a bunch of other stuff. Apple II pirates, not people who pirated software. I'm talking about pirate computers. Like, we're going to make a 100% or 99% compatible Apple II computer. Apple, yeah, we'll sue you if you try and sell it. Pirates. We'll just go to Brazil and sell it then. So yeah, it was like the Wild West down there of really odd and cool video game consoles. But Ardu mentioned stuff. Yeah, Sega clones and Nintendo Entertainment System and SNES clones down there, the Famicom and Super Famicom. Just clones galore. But anyway, so yeah, it's a pretty cool country. Speaking of things that are pretty cool, I don't want to get wrapped up in the drama of this, so I'm not going to. I'm just going to mention something. There's a young lady in the TTRPG creative space. Hey, Corey, certainly. Absolutely. Good to see you, man. But there's a young lady in the TTRPG space, creative space, who does awesome work. She's got 2 issues of a zine out. I have the first one. I got to get the second one printed up. Elven Made In, Tales from the Tavern. You need to go get this. Go get this. This is 100 pages, almost 100 pages of a zine. This came out last year. This is the first issue. The second issue is out. Yeah, I've still got a Discord. I've still got a Discord, Corey. We're still over there. But it's got cover art by Richard Witters. It's got an interview with me. I want everybody to buy this. Yes, I had an Olivetti computer. I had a Olivetti 8086 clone for a very brief while. It belonged to my wife's father. And then he gave it to us. And then like an idiot, I got rid of it. Because retro wasn't in. Retro was just junk. Yes, Tales from the Tavern. Let me find the link. Let me find the link for you, good people. Tales from the Tavern. Tales from the Tavern. There we go. Elven Made In. Here, I'll just send you to the store, and then you can go and you can just buy this stuff yourself. Thank you, Ardu. So yeah, that's a free little plug. Emmy is fantastic. She is hardworking. She is hard headed, and I mean that in the best, most loving way. No, no. Wonderful Wizard of Games. I wouldn't. Trust me. I'd report on it if it was news. The last I heard from her that may have had anything to do with us, she was sitting down and she was going to read the first edition AD&D Dungeon Master's Guide. She never reported back. Maybe she fell into the Sphere of Annihilation illustration and the magic user sending it towards the orcs. But I would very much like it. I would take it as a personal favor if you guys would check it out. It's a great zine. Issue 2 is awesome. I've seen the PDF of issue 2. I don't have the physical. I need to get the physical. Money's a little tight around here. Yeah, she got lost in an appendix hole. So I do insist that you at least give it a look. At least check out the PDF. Because she's fantastic. She does a lot. She shoulders a lot of responsibility. And I think she's a fantastic person. She's a lovely artist. So please support her, won't you? We really should support each other, particularly in old school TTRPGs. Particularly. Wizards isn't going to have our back. But anyhow, so, I think, yeah, they only have 1d4 HP. That's right. I almost said HP. You can take away my license to American if I ever say that and don't either apologize or correct myself. Yeah, I wouldn't want to work at Wizards unless Wizards of the Coast just said, yo, Bill, you're in charge of the old school vibe around here. And we'll give you access to our AD&D library and stuff. I wouldn't. Janiti is in the Paizo live play Lost Odyssey Godfall with Mercer. I had no idea. Cooperative Waffles. No idea. But yeah, I would not want to be working at Wizards of the Coast right now. The vibe I'm getting, this very much strikes me as like a 1994 to 1998 TSR in terms of corporate culture and how cold it must be there. What's going on with my Monday night game? They are currently coming up on the potential end of the glacial rift of the frost giant Jarl, and then on to Hall of the Fire Giant King, and then descend into the depths of the earth, and then Shrine of the Kuatoa, and then Vault of the Drow, and then Queen of the Demon Web Pits. But yes, they are currently working their way through G2. They're close to the conclusion. Miss Bella Games, good to see you. See, Ardu, they've got half the equation right, brother. They've got half of the equation right. Now, people say, well, we want first edition. Guys, you have it. You have all of the first edition in the world. The core books and many of the classic modules, they're there for the taking. Just pluck them off a drive-through. I want a physical Dungeon Master's Guide. Go buy one. Go buy one. Yay! Good for you, Gonzalo. That's awesome. Sure. Corey, hang on a second. Corey in the house. I got to open Discord. Hang on a minute. And this isn't just for Corey. This is for all of you. All of you can do this. It's updating. Anyway, you think second edition was the ultimate expression of the game? Guess what? Same thing. All core second edition. You can get it. You can buy as many players' handbooks as you want. I wish that were true, Ardu. I really wish it were true that they were going to release every edition into D&D Beyond. Wow, what is going on with that? Anyway, third edition 3.5. I mean, if you need it, yeah, same thing. All right, let me. Good Lord, what is going on with that? Thank you. All right. That is very true. Saturday, May 24th. What is going on with the Discord? Discord is basically hanging up on me. Lots of interesting stuff happening over here. Yeah, the old PC is currently CPU is pegging at 67%. What the hell are you doing? It's eating up so much CPU. All right, let's just kill it. And I am very sorry there, Corey, but I can't get it to work. But anyway, to go back to what I was talking about, Um, I don't see Discord. You can play any D&D you want to. They're not hiding it anymore. You can just go out there and you can buy the books and you can start playing. People say, how do we get started playing first edition AD&D? Bill? Go buy the books. Oh, you mean like on eBay or try and find a use? No, go buy the books. Drive through RPG. Buy them. Get hardbacks or even softbacks. Bada bing, bada boom. You'll be playing in a couple of weeks. Yeah, but I mean, is that yes, that's it. But you got to get them off of this moral panic about old editions of D&D. You got to get them to stop shitting on classic D&D. Thank you, Ardu. There you go, Corey. That's it. Yes, drive-through is upping their prices probably because of their pod services are coming from overseas. I think there's a lot of companies that want to make more money that are going to use the tariffs as casus belli to charge more money and go, oh, well, you know, tariffs. You know, you're a local barbecue shop. If you're getting anything from China, I don't want to eat here. But no, I think in this case, I think in the case of Drive-Thru RPG, it is because they have their books printed in China, which is stupid. It's beyond stupid. So I have a book over here. China. Let me tell you, folks, we're going to have the best tariffs. They're going to be beautiful. They're going to be huge. You know who's not going to like them? China. Anyway, I have The Third Test. Alyssa Hazel, science fiction novel. Very good. This is very good. This was printed in Orlando. I bought this from Amazon. It was printed in Orlando. Is Alyssa's printer in Orlando? No. Amazon's is. I bought this from Amazon. A local print shop spat this out. It was dropped in the mailbox and got to my house 3 days later. That's what Drive-Thru needs to be doing. And I'll tell you something else. If it's more expensive as a result, I don't care because it's coming out of this country. Gonzalo Lira hits the nail on the head. They apparently don't hate 1E so much that they won't sell it. So, yeah, people who are like, how do you get started playing 1E? Just go buy the books. But, and this is important, Wizards needs to stop pooping on classic D&D. They really do. And I'm going to be honest with you, and I say this with all the love in the world. I'm really tired of the people saying, "Oh, come on, the massive shit they took on Gary in the 50 Years D&D book wasn't that bad." It was just, they were just saying he was a terrible human being and guilty of crimes against humanity, that he was a misogynist pervert, that he had committed the unforgivable sin of being a white guy from the Midwest. That's all. Come on. Sorry, that's kind of how I feel about it. It's awful. I'd buy that 50-year the creation of original D&D. And if I do, I will physically rip those 4 pages from it. I'll have a custom copy. A printer for each. Hell, they ought to do a printer for each region. You're as far south as Avon Park or as far north as Ocala, you're printed out of Orlando. Further south than that, Miami-Dade County. Further north than that, Tallahassee, or if you're far to the west, Pensacola. They are just photostats. They're just photocopies. These are not the days of plates and movable type anymore. Alyssa's book was done with a laser printer. Granted, a very, very nice laser printer. But a guy loaded paper into a machine, commands were sent, and a book came out the other end. There's no book binding involved. Do that in every city. And suddenly, the people who want to play first edition AD&D are getting their books in a few days at most. Corey, I'll put it up. Hang on a minute. There's the link. Take the space out from between Discord, discord.and GG and / N, lowercase m, uppercase U, so on and etc. I hope you appreciate that there, Corey, because I had to put Ardu's very scary profile pic up. Yeah, no, you're right, Damien. You're Jack, yeah. Jack's in his garage right now with like a giant clamp and some wood glue he probably made from like cheese and vinegar and like a hand bitten bracing. Shut up with your laser printer, Sylvie. Just write it down, dude. Just do a screenshot or open Discord and type it into Discord. Hey, Don McVitie, there is the guy who's responsible for getting the character generator over a lot of humps. He has looked at my slop code with its strands of AI slop in it and made so much of it work. Yeah, Corey, man. Wood glue, pair of C clamps, metal ruler to clamp the paper between. Yeah, see? I've actually seen photos of Jack's printing setup. It's actually pretty cool. I can't remember if your books are out here or in the den for read. I mean, I have your books to hand. Are they up there? Are they? I'm looking. But Jack makes beautiful books. Jack makes absolutely beautiful books. If I go pulling books off that shelf, stuff's going to fall. But the point behind what I'm saying is Jack knows what he's doing. Well, it's still going. It's still going, Don, and it's still driving me crazy. No, I knew Gary Ardu, and no, he wasn't a bad person. Don, who just walked in, you Gary, he shared a joke. I had forgotten about this. I had sent Gary a full frontal nerdity comic with him in it that he liked. Yeah, but Jack, you live out on the left coast, don't you? If you wanted to build a garage, you'd have to file like an environmental impact statement, get $900,000 worth of surveying done, and you'd still have protesters showing up to protest the construction of your garage. Oh my gosh. So I want to do something. I want to do something unusual. I want to put somebody on the spot, somebody from the audience, and ask. You guys always ask me questions. I'm going to ask you questions. Ooh, I know. Joanna, are you still watching? Old school. Is Gary Con getting too big? Yes, unquestionably. Gary Con had a few thousand people at it when myself and Mrs. the Dungeon Delver were at it in you'll neither confirm or Joanna, with a proper enticement, would you play Dungeons and Dragons again? I should be careful about that rather lurid way I said with proper enticement. But yeah, it was when I was there in 2018, it was pretty slammed. 2023 was really slammed. I know people who were there for like the single digit ones and said it was really chill because it was like a few hundred people. Now, I was at LGGC and I thought LGGC, even though that's what Gary and the Troll Lords wanted, I was like, oh, this is a nice get together. Isha, hey, take care. The Star Trek game is coming. Jack and I got to talk about it. Our orbital resonances are very different in the Delver photon system. So when our planets line up, we can actually use tight beam laser communication with each other to plan these things. But we got to come back around so that we're in that window with each other. But as far as I'm concerned, it's still happening. I do want to play in the Star Trek game, though. I won't tell you who I'm going to play. I just want to play Spock. If you ever did, and you're not saying you would, it'd have to be with a bunch of newbies, like ground level newbies. Well, like how? Like I mean, like you wouldn't sit down and game with like me at the table, right? Like that would be too intense. Spock, do something. And by the way, Joanna, you're now officially off the hook. I just wanted to ask you that. Oh yeah, no, people were asking if you were going to still run the Star Trek game. Someone said, I believe whatever happened to it. And I was like, as far as I'm concerned, it's still happening. You and I just have to get in the same orbital resonance so we can send tight beam communications to each other about when it has to happen. Yes, and I am still into it. I get myself in trouble sometimes. Well, not so much reprieve, Joanna. You didn't answer the question, but I'll let it go this time. I'm just teasing you, Joanna. You know you're one of my faves. I'm trying to get my fan. It's really hot. My fan fell off top of my computer. So I got, pardon me for a minute. Can't break eye contact with you. You'll charge at me. Also, if I keep leaning over, I'm going to fall over. And that's not going to be cool. By the way, no, it's both our faults, Jack. It's not your fault specifically. It's both our faults. If you are a fan of the band ST, I got to be careful about saying that. The band with Mike Muir as the front man, who sings a song called Institutionalized. If you're a fan of ST and you're also a fan of the band Ministry, right now, but after this live stream, they're coming also, Alan. The Black Sabbath modules are coming. You guys are very close to finding out what the 10,000 follower on Twitter Led Zeppelin module trio is going to be called. But the song Possessed by ST and I got to pull up the track listing to the Ministry album. Hang on a second. I can't say the name of that album either because it's got a word in it YouTube will smack me for. Track listing. Deity. Go listen to Possessed by Suicidal Tendencies. Damn it. I'm in trouble now. Go listen to Possessed by them and Deity by Ministry. Same song. Same song. Same bass line. Same chugging guitar riff. It's just, it's weird. Uh-oh, did I lose you guys? No, I didn't. Here you are. Stigmata is a great song. I got tired of listening to Stigmata after. There was a period in the 90s when that song would just show up places. Like, oh, it's a Payless shoe ad. Stigmata! What even is this? Al had heroin bills to pay, I guess. Funny piece of sci-fi trivia. If you are a fan of the film Hardware, you'll know that the song Stigmata features in Hardware. When Jill is inadvertently rebuilding the Mark 13 in her apartment, she puts on some music. Well, specifically, she presses the remote on the TV. And the song Stigmata starts playing. And there's a band. And the band is in really wild costumes. The band is Gwar. The music is Ministry. They couldn't get a license to the music for Gwar in time, and they couldn't get the license for the video for Stigmata. They could get the music for Stigmata, but not the video, and the video for whatever Gwar live performance that was, but not the music. So the director mashed them together. So you hear Stigmata, but you see Gwar performing. So there you go. I don't think Dave Brocky gave a shit. I honestly don't. A hard decision with your main Win 10 computer. You hate Win 11. I do. Cheap Win 11 laptop for internet only. Do I surrender and upgrade your main to 11? Don't put 11 on your PC. I have a motherboard that came with a plug-on TPM module. I will not use Windows 11 if and when Valve drops support for Steam when on 10, when they say no more and nobody's willing to patch it, then I'll have to look at Steam OS. I'll boot into Windows to do day-to-day, and I will run Steam OS on another partition or another drive altogether. But I am not, cannot, will not, refuse to run Windows 11. I didn't run Vista. I'm not running. I didn't run Vista. I didn't run ME. I'm not running 10. I'm not doing it. I didn't run 8. I didn't run 8.1. I'm simply not going to be forced into an OS that is essentially spyware, malicious spyware. I don't care if Microsoft support for Windows 10 ends. I don't. But yeah, when I got my motherboard, which was a whole big fun adventure, I there was this little thing plugged into the serial port header on it, and I was like, "What is this?" And I popped it out and got my microscope and started looking at it. I'm like, "This chip is all right. Let's see." I could have just grabbed it. I found out later I could have just grabbed the manual from the Gigabyte website. But yeah, TPM module. Well, it's optional if you just reach back and unplug the network cord. Just literally, unless you're going to surf the web, unplug the network cord. Or sandbox your browsers in a Windows 7 VM. I mean, that's one way to do it. Oh, I need this app and this app and this app and this app. Sandbox your browsers. A TPM trusted something module. Basically, can I find that thing? I can't. Okay, so most motherboards, definitely laptops, have a chip on board that says, I am actually the Intel chip that I claim to be. I actually use this BIOS. I authorize you to use Ring 0. I authorize you to use a virtual OS if you want to, yada, 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 etc. Is there going to be a Gamma World game on Good Friday? I don't know. But TPM tells the BIOS that, and more importantly, it tells the OS that. Now, the way 11 was configured initially was, we know CTPM chip, we know installee. That just, we're not going to install on a motherboard that isn't a trusted computing platform. So you got some funky homebrew thing, you know, some junkyard scrap, you know, you went down to the recycle center, bashed together a motherboard and CPU combo of your own, and conveniently fucking enough, the embedded TPM support will that doesn't go back to 6th gen, 5th gen, 4th gen, 3rd gen, 2nd gen, 1st gen, all the previous gen Ryzens. No. You'll have to upgrade your hardware too. Doesn't matter if the new hardware is slower. Because, boys and girls, I'm here to tell you, my 4th gen i7 4770K is absolutely as fast, if not faster, than a 7th gen i3. But it doesn't support TPM, so I can't run Windows 11. Coochie 245, driving home from your AD&D game. We are playing Sinister Secret. Hey, thank you for stopping by. I'm glad you had a good session. We love first edition too. We love some first edition AD&D, the edition of D&D that needs no TPM. Really amusing to me, people who believe in demons who never play D&D. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, this box down here is a it's a socket 2011 Xeon, runs at 3.2 gigahertz, 48 gigs of RAM. Yeah, depending on what you're pushing around, Xeons are just like better. And the nice thing about Xeons, like I upgraded before I gave it to a friend. I had a Dell. It was an Office Dell 4th gen, and it came with an i5, like an i5 4550, and I put in the Xeon E3 1240 V2. Oh, that thing ran. That thing was a beast. Now he uses it for audio streaming, but I told him, I said, hey, you ever upgrade, you just cave and get yourself a MacBook or something, throw a GTX 1060 in there. You've got a gaming box that'll run everything up to like 2022. I don't love every edition of D&D. I don't. I love OD&D. I love first edition AD&D. I don't care for second edition AD&D. I don't care for third edition and 3.5. I don't hate them. I really dislike fourth edition. I do not like fourth edition at all. 5e is a fine fantasy game. I like it more than I like second edition AD&D. Like in order of D&Ds, I go first edition OD&D, Holmes Basic, Moldvay Basic, 5e, second edition, 3.5, and then that's it. Oh, quiet you. No, I have to be nice to Don. He's going to fix my code for me later. It is to a point, Engine Joe. It is to a point. It's getting now that, like, if you want to find even like a Pentium 2 machine, like, hey, I want a Pentium 2 with an 8 meg Voodoo card and a Trident, 2 meg Trident card, a real Sound Blaster, and 64 megs of RAM. Good luck. I just described a $400 to $500 gaming rig. Just so you can go back and play, Quake 2 on real hardware. But if you're gonna DOSBox, Engine Joe, if you're doing productivity stuff, DOSBox X. That has been a lifesaver with the Dungeon Master's Assistant Volume 2 and Volume 1. Yeah, an AW64 card in that rig I just described. That's basically the equivalent of going out and getting like a 12th gen i5 with like a 4060 or a 5070 in it. And that is completely bananas. Which is why I'm glad I have a Pentium 2 350 with a pair of 8 meg Voodoo 2s and a Voodoo Banshee to pop into it someday when I'm ready. I don't have the ISA sound card that I'll have to pay for, but Coochie, that's awesome. Do I allow two-handed? Yes. Yes, I do. You can thrust with them. You can move them up and down. Yes, I do. I allow spears in a 10-foot passage. Halberds. About the only thing that I don't are really outrageous pole arms. You know, the ones that are like 14 feet long. How did you even get it down the tunnel into the dungeon? Yeah, me and Don are you know, we tease each other. We have a lot of fun. Guys, I'm kind of running out of steam. We've been going for a little over an hour and a half. Do you guys have any questions for me before I wrap? Because I'm going out and I'm not coming back till Monday. Barring any TTRPG news that hits this weekend. Because boy, double whammy this week, huh? Perkins, Crawford, gone. So if you've got any questions, let me know. Let me know. I'm going to talk on Monday. We're going to talk some more about Guac. Can players use nets in combat? Depends on the DM. How is the good question. Joanna Shipley's asking the important questions. The ziti was delicious. Thank you. I use an Instant Pot. Saute the meat in about 10, 12 minutes. You saute it with some onion. Deglaze with your tomato sauce. Throw your ziti noodles in, stir, throw in some water. 25 minutes. Do manual steam release. Pop it open. Stir in your ricotta. Top with mozzarella. Set the lid back on it. 15 minutes for your mozzarella to melt. And serve up. It's delicious. Do the tier list. I'll check it out. Miss Bella Games, ask your Morrowind question. Oh, that's true. Daniel Rowan. Yes, of course. Will Darlene come back on my show? Probably not. If I had to pick the 3 best movies for inspiration for D&D, what would I pick? Conan the Barbarian, Excalibur, and Monty Python's Quest for the Holy Grail. So ask your question, Miss Bella. Ask your Morrowind question, and I will do my level best to answer it. The answer, by the way, is go north till you find the island with the weird tower. Get the Ring of Vampiric the Ring of Vampirism. Kill the 2 witches that Ebar dabbed, so you can get the shield that lets you heal yourself. Then go to the caves behind the one Imperial city down in the southwest and find the reject from the Fighters Guild, use the vampire ring on him, kill him, take the Lord's mail, then go north from there, almost exactly due north, to Ilunbi and get the gloves that give you +5 strength and +5 something else. Then go find the people with the boots of blinding speed. Along the way, invent a potion that gives you resist magic for 1 second. Take the boots of blinding speed from them. Drink the potion, don the boots. Congratulations, you are now running around like the Roadrunner. That's the answer to your question. No, I'm glad you like this stuff. As I always like to say, Jason, this is all all this stuff here. This is my library. This is my personal stuff. I game with this. Miss Bella Games, I will tell you on the Discord. I will tell you how to do it. The Dragon Break. Oh, nice. That's pretty nice, Jason. I like it. I like it. Charles Latora, have a lovely evening. But yeah, all of this, I've got a bunch of autographed stuff. You can't really see the autographs. My loose OD&D books, which are behind-ish over here, have all the core books have Gygax and Arneson and Cask and Tracy Lesh, all their autographs on them. I have Arneson and Cask's and Lesh's autographs on supplement 2 Blackmore. I have Gary and Rob's autographs on supplement 1 Greyhawk. I have Rob's signature on Gods, Demigods, and Heroes. I never got Jim's signature on it, and I hate that. I have Gary's autograph, Darlene's autograph. I have a lot of autographs, okay? I have a lot of autographs. We're doing good, Light Meme, but I'm about to wrap it up, brother. Hey, thank you, Alan, for the super sticker. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. So let me say, in closing, I've played too much Morrowind. Not nearly enough. Gonzalo Lira, Wave of Mutilation. Gonzalo Lira again. And Alan Canning, thank you all for the gifts tonight. I really appreciate it. It's the swear jar. I get to fucking swear a lot. Yeah, Space Hulk. I got 2nd edition, 3rd edition, and the guts for 4th edition, but no miniatures for 4th edition. I don't have my 3rd edition minis painted. Shame on me. But I love it. Space Hulk is awesome, Jason. Jason, if you're not subscribed, click that subscribe button. Everybody, if you're not subscribed, click that subscribe button. Show me that you love me. Get me to 10,000 subscribers, and I will host an in real life convention right here in Central Florida where you can come and you can play some of these great games with me and other awesome Delver supporters. Guys, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at @A_Dungeon Delver. And all the other cool people that were here tonight. I thank you all. Joanna, thank you very much for me turning the spotlight out on the audience. Thank you, Don, for stopping by. Thank you guys for your excellent questions. Lightning, just quick, like it's less than a quarter, I think now. It's less than that. That movie is called Lady Hawk, and it is one of the best fantasy movies ever made. I highly recommend Lady Hawk. I think it's free on YouTube for a little while right now if you have YouTube Premium. Guys, I am going to roll out of here. Bless each and every one of you. Thank you. And let me tell you what, since you guys are so awesome to me tonight, I will tell the owl bear to leave you guys alone as you file out into the parking lot. Love you all. Mean it.
Have you seen my owl bear? Here's to all the weirdos everywhere, in the woods and in the air. Have you seen my owl bear? Should I shave off all my hair? Bobs are all around, some live in tunnels underground. Some are fat, some are rich, some are sleeping in a ditch. Can you ride a crooked horse without a saddle way off course? naked as a toad, all the way to Smoky Joe's. Have you seen the little creep driving fast in his little green Jeep? He smells like fish and brandy, but his rotten teeth look dandy. Take me to the show, I don't care if fast or slow. From action flicks to dancing dicks, just take me to the show.